Today we're covering 16 things that Moco needs. Honestly, I was going to do a 100% honest review of the game, but that just ended up with me talking about how much I love it. So let me just say, I freaking love Moco. It's so fun, but there are still some things I'd love to see. And I think the first thing Moco needs is some sort of XP bank. Let me explain this. Every day you have 60,000 XP that you can get from killing monsters, and after you reach that cap, you can no longer get XP from killing monsters. You have to get, and like if you want to continue progressing, you have to like complete projects which are very grindy, or do some other stuff. I've seen a lot of people really dislike the XP cap. Personally, I am in favor of keeping some sort of a cap in the game. I don't want this game to be a 20-hour grind every single day if you want to be number one in the world, right? I think that that's unhealthy, and I think that Supercell should take some responsibility in promoting healthy gaming habits, even for the hardcore sweats, okay? But a big reason that people don't like the cap is because they don't have equal time to play every day. Okay, they want to take a break from the game on busy days and then hit it hard when they do have time, probably on the weekends, without having to stress about missing that daily XP every single day. And that's why my suggestion is an XP bank. Any XP that you wouldn't get when the XP timer resets will be sent towards your XP bank for you to grind through on another day when you do have the time to play. I mean, obviously this XP bank would have to have some sort of a cap, like it couldn't be like an infinite XP bank that you just let sit for a year so that you can grind as much as you want when you come back to the game. I don't know, maybe it's like a 3-day cap worth of XP. Maybe it's worth like 7 days for a cap or something like that. Personally though, I like the idea of increasing the size of your XP bank based off of your collector level, like the level that you get for collecting cosmetics. But I'll talk about that a little bit more later and why I actually think it's low-key really a good idea. The second thing that I think Moco needs is a project tracker. You know how when you're completing your daily jobs or your quests, or then there's like these little purple or red or even green dots on the map to show you where certain enemies are? Okay, a project tracker would highlight the monsters that you choose based off of the project you're trying to complete, okay? This would just save so much time running around the map hoping to find jumpers or hoping to find shrine dancers or ladybugs. Am I right? Whatever it is you want to hunt, you just set it up in your tracker and be able to hunt it. The real question is, how many projects would you be able to track at a time? And personally, I like the idea of being able to track more and more projects depending on your collector level, which I'll talk about more later. Third, more gear kits, okay? Gear kits are basically your equipment slots. You know how you have 4 gear kits so that you can have 4 sets of equipment, even though we have 12 weapons in the game, right? And we have tons of different modes of the game, rifts, we have different worlds, we have different dojo challenges, like 4 gear slots or equipment slots or gear kits or whatever you want to call them. It's just so small, okay? Pretty much every weapon in the game, there's more than 1 or 2 builds that work great on them depending on the content you're trying to complete. For example, you might have some sort of a spin sickle build that's kind of like a pseudo tank build that's about dealing a little bit of damage, but mostly about just like trying to not take damage, focusing on that dodge. Or you might also have a spin sickle build that is about doing more damage. I don't know. The point is, I think we need a lot more gear kits, like at least double, but honestly, I would like even more than that. And the real question is, like, how many more, right? Well, I like the idea of unlocking more gear kits as you increase your collector level. Again, I'll talk about that more later on, why it's so important. Not just for the people who are spending money on the game, but also for the free-to-play players, okay? The fourth thing that I think Moco needs is improvement to gear kits. I would love to be able to just rename my gear kits, right? Like just let me rename them. This one's for dojo, this one's for rifts, this one, I mean, it's not enough. This is my spin sickle tank build, and this is my spin sickle DPS build. Like, I'd love to be able to rename them. I'd also love to be able to easily copy gear kits, either from other players in game. I think it would be a great place to start, or with a link, so that like I could make a gear kit setup for you guys, put it in the description of my YouTube video, and you guys could just click on it and it would just copy the gear kit right into your game for you. That would be really cool. And I'd like all of this to not be locked behind your collector level. Don't worry. I don't think the collector level is the best thing in the game. It's just really good. I'll talk about it. The fifth thing that I really think Moco needs is body types. Right now, every character in Moco has the same body type. It's not really masculine. It's not really feminine. It's somewhere in the middle, which I think is great, okay, for there to be a gender neutral body type in the game, especially for those who want it. But I think that most people would agree that they don't currently feel like they're able to represent themselves in the game with just that one body type, right? Even though there are a couple of masculine outfits in the game, you know, right next to the plethora of feminine outfits, right? But I'm not just talking about the guys here. I'm talking about women too. Most of the players in the game want to be able to better express themselves, and I think additional body types would go a long way. Number 6, more face types, hairstyles, and hair colors. Okay, I'm not even talking about outfits here. Not everybody likes hats. Genuinely, like, the only time I ever wear a hat is when my hair is messy, and my hair is not messy today. That's right. So I'm not wearing a hat. I don't like wearing hats. People like wearing hats though, and that's great. I also think that facial hair should be like tied to your character's hair color instead of your skin color. It's a little bit weird when I go with like a super white character and it gives me a gray beard, even though I went with like blue hair. Like, okay. There are currently, from what I could, based off of my own personal judgment, 8 feminine faces in the game and 5 masculine faces in the game. And one that I would say is in the middle, and you could call it either. In fact, maybe even 2 of them could be that. I think that there should be more masculine faces in the game for everybody, but I also think that the developers could add more faces, hair colors, hairstyles as you increase your collector level. Oh, maybe my hair is messy. Oh boy. And number 7 is specifically to concentrate the PvP. What I mean here is concentrate PvP into just fewer modes so that PvP actually becomes a little bit more player versus player and not player versus bots, PvB, you know. Honestly, there are just too many modes in PvP, which means that all the people who are even playing PvP are spread too thinly across way too many modes. And to fill the space, you are then matched up against bots or with bots on your team, which just really isn't that fun. Right now, there are 8 total PvP modes. You unlock 3 at level 15 and you unlock 5 at level 30. And I think that those 8 modes could be cut down to just 3. My suggestion is you unlock a solo mode at level 10, 4v4 at level 20, and 10v10 at level 30. But not the mega charge or the big party map, the ones that actually have projects. Honestly, I think that that map is just too big. Maybe that would be great for 20v20 later on or something like that. I think the best 10v10 map is the Mega Mayhem map. But the point is here, this should hopefully help make PvP a little bit more fun to play because there would be fewer bot matches because everybody who's playing PvP is going to be more focused on just those 3 modes. This may not fix it entirely. There will still be bots, very likely, but hopefully this would improve things. The number 8 thing is also PvP, is just make PvP more rewarding. Concentrating PvP players will help. It'll make it more fun, but I don't think that that's actually enough. I genuinely think that PvP should be a viable alternative for world farming when it comes to character progression for those that want to play PvP. So I'm saying you should be able to get just as much progression relatively on an even playing field as world farming if you are playing PvP instead. Okay, that means increasing the amount of XP that you get for PvP, especially for wins. That means rewarding players more chaos shards. In fact, I don't even think you get chaos shards from PvP. I could be wrong about that, but that would be really excellent. And I think that PvP is a great place for players to be able to get a chance at chaos cores. Maybe not every match, maybe only when you win. I don't know. It shouldn't be 100% guaranteed. It should scale based off of whatever the chaos core algorithm is. But anyway, yeah, I just think that PvP should be more rewarding, but I don't think the developer should stop right there. I would love to see more projects for getting kills with various weapons in PvP. I'd like to see them increase the amount of XP that PvP projects award you for reaching higher belts in PvP. They kind of suck right now. I'm fine with the first one being 2,000 XP, but after you get that gold, you should get, 3,000 XP for blue, and then 4,000 XP for purple, and then maybe even 5,000 XP for reaching black belt. It's just like so little XP. And anyway, I also think they should do other things to award players with titles and cosmetics that you can only unlock in PvP, to increase your collector level, which we'll talk about. Number 9, more combat customization. Now, I want to be clear here. I've seen a lot of people asking for aimable gadgets and weapons, and I know that this may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't actually think they should do that for one big reason. Say it with me here. cross-platform compatibility. That's right, being able to play Moco on PC or console, right? Have you ever tried playing Brawl Stars on a computer emulator or with like a controller or something like that? It is super janky. There's just no good way to emulate the experience of an aimable attack along with an aimable super on keyboard and mouse or on controller, at least not with a conventional setup, right? Like there are weird janky things that you can do, but like nobody who's taking Brawl Stars seriously when it comes to competitive play is ever going to try playing it with a controller or a mouse and keyboard. It just sucks. It's not good. It doesn't work for that. And that's because the attack and the super are aimable. Okay. That's why I actually don't think that Brawl Stars should ever be playable on PC or console. But Moco has the opportunity to be playable on PC or with a controller because the abilities are all auto-aimed. All you have to do is just tap a button. So if Moco has any plans at all to go cross-platform across PC or console, then do not add aimable abilities into the game. But if there is no chance of that happening in Moco's future, please let us aim our weapons and gadgets. Dang it. Please. It's so frustrating to be playing a mobile game where you take full advantage of your mobile controls. Anyway, whatever. If that happens, you could lock it behind your collector level. No, I'm just kidding. That would be a terrible idea. Just sometimes I've just got to catch you guys off guard, you know? Say things that make zero sense. Make sure you guys are paying attention and listening. No, but when I'm talking about like combat customization, I'm actually hoping for more weapons, gadgets, passives, maybe even more smart rings, maybe even more abilities eventually. Not immediately though. I'm actually fine with the number of ability slots that we have right now. We have a weapon, we got 3 gadgets, we got 3 passes, we got 3 smart rings, an elite module, and a ride, which I feel like a ride doesn't really count as a slot because you don't have different rides. They're all equal. Like they look different, but they all act exactly the same. Anyway, I'm fine with the number of slots for now. I think eventually it makes sense to add more slots, but having more options would go a long way, like in terms of the abilities and weapons that we have right now, especially because not every ability or weapon are like, they're not all equally competitive. And there are some situations where some are very clearly outshined by other abilities and stuff, and it'd be cool to have more options to make different builds with various things. And obviously Moco's already working on this. We got to experiment with the shot bow, I think it was what it was called, a week or 2 ago with a special event. That was really cool. I'm sure that the developers are going to do this, but we just want more abilities. Now, before we continue talking about more things that Moco needs, I want to outline a common complaint that I've seen some players express with the game. And that is this general sense of like, what's the point after players reach Elite Hunter and get a few levels? You log in, you complete your daily jobs, you hunt monsters until you're out of XP, and then you're like kind of done for the day. Hopefully along the way you got some Chaos Cores that upgraded your gear, you know, beyond just your smart rings. But like, what is the point of coming back every day to do that? Especially because the Elite Hunter levels and the smart rings are all going to be reset once the next chapter releases. This is an issue that a lot of people have voiced, and I agree with that to some extent, okay? Like, what's to stop somebody from just being like, hey, you know what? I reached Elite Hunter. I don't have all my gear maxed out, but like, it's close enough. Maybe I'll just stop playing until the next chapter releases and play something else until then, right? Yeah, you would miss out on your Elite Hunter module reaching max level, but like, is that going to make that big of a difference? Yeah, it might in some situations, but is it worth the time? That's a really good question, okay? And there are like 3 answers, okay, to like what's the point? 3 answers to what's the point. Why should you play after you reach Elite Hunter? The first is to upgrade all of your gear to max level. This happened to me when I was around Elite Hunter level 60 or so. I've seen some people get it as early as like 50, and some people take longer to do it. Cool, whatever. It just kind of depends on how willing you are to like really grind out Chaos Cores throughout the day after you're out of XP. The second reason to continue playing after you reach Elite Hunter is to reach level 100, because that's where your Elite module for the season gets maxed out. This is the most important reason to keep playing, in my opinion. Just like Elite modules, they are a massive permanent buff to your account, and you never know if the current season's Elite module is going to be the strongest for a long time. Like, we don't know. We have no idea. But it is a big grind. Elite level 100, it takes some time, and it starts to feel a little bit repetitive. You log in, you farm your dailies, and maybe you don't even go through all of your daily XP. You just do that, and then you just stop playing for the day. Like, it's like, you know, what's the point? I don't know that the Elite Hunter module really feels like worth it for a lot of people because of this. The third answer to like why you should continue playing is to earn elite tokens and then unlock cosmetics with those elite tokens. A lot of which of those cosmetics you may or may not care about or ever use, because guess what? Your collector level is essentially useless in the game. It doesn't do anything except for make your badge a little bit fancier. And that means that it feels pretty pointless for you to grind out cosmetics that you don't plan on using, either because you don't like the look of them or they make you look like a woman and you're a guy and you want to have a masculine looking character. Okay, but vice versa as well. Some of the skins are crazy, like masculine and cool, and girls might not be interested in that. So what's the point of trying to get these cosmetics if you're not ever going to use it? The point is, despite moco being super fun, I'm not convinced that the game offers enough compelling reasons to play after you've reached Elite Hunter for the current season. At least not for every player in the game or every type of player in the game. Now, I know a lot of people will think that the answer is very simple. Just add more content, moco. Come on, what you doing, Supercell? Just make more content, more monsters and bosses to kill, more cosmetics worth grinding for, more weapons and abilities, more permanent progression, more challenges. Give us more. And I've got good news for you guys. That's exactly what the developers are working on. But making more requires more time. And we don't want to have to wait, right? Right? At least not longer than we have to. And the thing is I think that there are some additions and changes that can be added into the game that will take a little bit of dev time, but are simple enough that once they're added into the game, playing the end game Elite Hunter program will feel more worth it for more players without them having to just keep on making more and more content. I mean, we still want that. Anyway, my next series of things that I think moco needs are all things that are focused towards addressing this issue. Thing number 10 that I think that moco needs: make it a little bit harder to unlock Elite Hunter cosmetics. I know that people are going to be upset at me for suggesting this, but let's be honest here, okay? There are only really a few Elite Hunter cosmetics that people will care about unlocking. Not everybody's going to want to collect every hat or emote or every shirt, or is going to even want to wear the hats, even though there's one hat that I like. But the beetle mask is supposed to be really cool. I'm never going to wear that thing. I'm just not. I don't like it. People are only going to care about unlocking a few specific things, and then they're going to stop caring. And honestly, it's just a little bit too easy to buy the few specific cosmetics that you want right now. And I appreciate the developers allowing that to happen and testing things out and making things easy for us, especially as first-time OG players of moco. But I think that the developers need to do something to make increasing your Elite Hunter level feel more impactful. And they can do that by locking cosmetics behind certain Elite Hunter levels. Like, you know how you can't actually max out your Elite Dash module until you're Elite level 100, right? Which is like funny because it's on page 6 of the cosmetics. You only have to be like Elite Hunter level like 25 to reach that page 6 when it comes to like spending your elite tokens, if you're smart about how you get those tokens and stuff like that. So maybe all they need to do, they don't need to necessarily increase the cost of all of the cosmetics for your elite tokens, but maybe they just need to make it so that in order for you to unlock the very end game cosmetics, you have to reach Elite Hunter level 100. That's going to make those really cool skins feel a lot cooler and more worth it for a lot of the players anyway. And it's going to look like a little bit more of a flex. It is not requiring any additional developer time, but it is going to be more rewarding for the players that actually do that. Or maybe they just increase the number of elite token costs required for you to move on from page 1 to the next page and to the next page and then to get to the 6th page. I know, sorry, I know this is probably going to be my least popular take of this video, and that's so okay, but I do think it's a little bit too easy, and I would not blame the developers for making things a little bit harder. But that doesn't solve the issue of players not having a reason to try and get every cosmetic as possible, which is why number 11 of things that I think moco needs is to make the collector level more rewarding. I've alluded to this so many times in this video. In my opinion, the way to make players interested in collecting as many of the Elite Hunter cosmetics as possible is to reward them for collecting as many cosmetics as possible, right? I'm not talking just a slightly shinier badge. That's not going to cut it, right? No, we need to be rewarded for getting higher collector levels because most people just don't care about that shiny badge. And by rewarding players for every collector level that they reach, it immediately makes those players want to unlock as many cosmetics, emotes, rides, titles, hats, anything, even if they don't ever plan on using them ever. And this isn't just for the free-to-play players, right? This also encourages spending on the game in a way that does not make the game pay to win, which the game is trying to do. And we love that. We want to support that, but please give us a reason to collect everything. I've already listed a few ways to make the collector level more rewarding, but let me quickly list them for you again, okay? Collector levels could reward you with more face types, more skin tones, maybe even skin colors or patterns. Maybe even your character has fur now, or scales, or some sort of like shiny glitter effect or something, all right? Like, give us options. Collector level could reward people with new eye styles, more eye colors, or an additional third eye in the middle of your forehead. I don't know, whatever. They could go as weird as they want. They could also give us additional hairstyles and colors when we reach different collector levels. Maybe even more facial hair options and body types. Please don't lock a masculine and a feminine body type behind this. We need some more base body types. But then once we have base body types, then you can put more body types in there. Right? You get the idea. But beyond character customization, there are additional ways to make the collector levels feel more rewarding. Increasing your collector level could unlock additional gear kits, right? They could increase the size of your XP bank, which I mentioned earlier in this video. They could also allow you to track more monsters at a time on your project tracker, which I also mentioned earlier. These are just a few ideas, and maybe the developers don't even need to do all of this, but I hope that the developers are able to come up with some additional ways to reward players for increasing their collector level without making the game feel pay to win or adding some sort of pay for power mechanic into the game, right? Again, this rewards players for continuing to play after reaching Elite Hunter, as well as encourages more spending for players who can afford to and want to do so, but also want to feel rewarded for spending in the game, right? The 12th thing that I think, I'm running out of fingers. I don't have 12 fingers, but the 12th thing moco needs is permanent progression as an elite hunter, or more of it. By permanent progression, I mean that something's actually going to permanently make your account stronger power-wise. Similar to like the elite hunter module, but not the same. Right? I actually think the Elite Hunter module is good, but it is obvious that some players just don't feel like it's enough. And that's okay. I think these players are actually right. There are so many ways that the developers could add some sort of permanent power progression after you reach Elite Hunter level that is locked behind your Elite Hunter level and locked behind playing when you're an Elite Hunter, right? I'm just going to share one idea here, okay? Legendary weapons. Oh man, this is what's missing from moco. I want a reason to grind the rifts for legendary weapons. And honestly, these legendary weapons could be the exact same weapons that we have in the game, but with some sort of cool new modifier, with some buffed stats or stuff like that. And these legendary weapons could only be dropped from Elite Hunter content, okay? You could think of these like you could even call them elite weapons. Elite weapons. Oh, I like the sound of that. Anyway, legendary weapons. The point is that they would have some sort of buffs or modifiers to make them stronger, and there could be different variations. You might have a regular base techno fists, but there might be 3 different legendary techno fists. One of them being the multi-shot techno fist, which adds an additional projectile that shoots in the opposite direction of you. So you're hitting enemies from both sides. I don't know, that's weird. Or there might be the multi-bounce techno fists that makes it so that the bounce shot will actually bounce off of 2 additional targets. Maybe you might have like a buzzkill, legendary buzzkill, that's like focus buzzkill or something like that, that makes it so that your bees will always attack whichever enemy you are attacking, so that you can hyper focus on your damage on just one enemy at a time. There might be the swift spin sickle or the swift sickle, which would significantly decrease how fast you lose your spin when you're not attacking enemies. Or then, like, there's so many different types of things that the developers could do. These legendary weapons would basically just be really rare and would have a very small chance of dropping from overcharged or mega charged monsters, or, which I didn't even talk about this, but like world bosses that are not in the game. But if they added world bosses into the game, maybe these legendary weapons have a chance to drop from world bosses, as well as from hard and nightmare rift bosses, which can only be played when you are an elite hunter. So the point is, your whole goal, if you want that permanent legendary weapon, is to reach elite hunter, but then play every day and play the rifts over and over again for a chance of getting that legendary weapon that you may or may not have. And you know what? I think there's got to be some sort of like drop protection or something in the game. They could make it so that the elite hunter levels that you have increase the drop rate so that as you get higher elite hunter levels, then it's more likely you'll get these legendary weapons, right? I don't know. I just feel like the game currently is missing some sort of really like big moment where you get really lucky. These big moments are what making similar games feel so exciting and fun. It's kind of like unlocking a legendary or a mythic brawler from a star drop in Brawl Stars. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's really exciting. These legendary weapons could be this big moment aspect that moco is missing, and it would give players a lot more of a reason to continue to play rifts over and over again and play the hardest versions possible beyond just trying to get a speed clear one time, which honestly, like, that's even lacking from the game. And I think that's kind of sad, because one of my favorite times playing moco through this playtest was trying to figure out how to clear a rift or a dojo for the first time, either, you know, solo or with friends, with randoms, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like one of the most fun pieces of content, and I want a reason to continually play them. I'm sorry, this is taking a long time, but we still got some more stuff to talk about, and I'm really excited and passionate about a lot of these. Item number 13 is to make the XP leaderboard skill-based. I think a big way that the developers could make the XP leaderboard competitive is to actually make it skill-based for moco. And this might sound a little bit weird, right? But I think that the best way to express skill in moco is with the 4-player rifts and the solo dojos. After all, moco is a game about hunting monsters. Okay, so here's the suggestion. I think the game should award you for XP for every second that you shave off of your personal best in the hard and nightmare rifts and dojos. Like right now, you try and speed clear them. You want to get them below like 2 minutes for the rifts and below 1 minute for the dojos. But after you do that, there's no reason to continue increasing your speed run or anything like that. I'm not even asking for like a leaderboard, though I do think that it would be really cool to show what the global record is and who owns it for each rift and each dojo. But what I'm talking about here is that, like, let's say your personal best is 1:30 in a rift. Okay, and then you get it to 1:29. What the game would do for you there is award you a little bit of XP for that additional 1 second that you shaved off. Each second could be worth a certain amount of XP. It could be like 10 XP per second, or maybe it would be worth more than that. But the idea here is that if you want to compete on the leaderboards, you would have to continually go back to each rift and dojo, trying to get faster clear times every time so that you can get more XP and increase your level and your rank on the leaderboard in a way that is actually like shows skill expression in moco. And honestly, even if you don't care about competing on the leaderboards, this would incentivize players to play dojos and rifts for more XP as well, especially if the rate at which you get or the drop rate for legendary weapons would be tied to your elite hunter level, because you want the highest elite hunter level possible, right, to get those elite hunter weapons. Oh, so cool. I just feel like this would be a really simple change that would make moco feel a lot more competitive in a way that fits moco. But honestly, I don't think that the skill-based aspect of moco's leaderboard should be tied just to speed clears. And that's why number 14 is to add some sort of combat achievements into the game. This is like straight up, I'm not even changing the name. This comes from old school RuneScape, which is a game that I've played a lot of. The idea here is that the game would award you either with titles or XP for completing dojos or rifts in really unique or special ways. And I got some examples here for you. One might be for the Big Papa rift, where you have to defeat Big Papa without destroying any of the eggs. In other words, you've got to let them hatch and deal with the scorchers, or you've got to just clear Big Papa before they all hatch, right? That's a combat achievement. And if you are able to do so, you get awarded a fat, juicy stack of XP. Another combat achievement might be to defeat the corrupt spirit with 4 staffs of good vibes, right? Which is hard because, well, anyway, you get the idea. Maybe one would be defeating the one-on-one dojo without ever letting the berserker hit you, which would be really hard and tricky to do. Another could be defeating crowd control dojo with the speed shot, which I don't even know if that's possible. And but the idea is that there are so many ideas that you could do. And I love the idea of these special challenges that would require players to adapt to their strategies. And you don't even have to add new content into the game. The developers could even just release a bunch of combat achievements that may or may not even be possible to beat. And the thing is to just hope that somebody is able to defeat them and beat them and see what's possible. And if nobody's able to beat them, that's okay, because guess what? Nobody will get the XP. It will be fair for everybody. although obviously a little bit of QA would be appreciated, I'm sure. But you guys get the idea. The 15th thing that I think that moco needs are harder bosses. And no, I'm not talking about adding a new bug lord with the same abilities, but who hits harder and who has more HP and who stuns you more frequently and for longer. No, I'm talking about more bosses that require different strategies if you want to defeat them. I really liked the Royal Rider fight in the game. It was really fun. And I mean, it had 3 different phases. Each phase was very different. You had to play around it differently. And like, yeah, it was cool. But if I'm being honest, as a longtime gamer, it honestly just barely scratched the surface for me when it comes to like difficult boss mechanics. The nightmare version of it was actually a lot more fun because you had to be really careful to not get hit from his like one hit kills, like the one shots. Oh man. And I think the game needs a little bit more of that. And honestly, I'm not even worried that this is going to happen. The devs are going to be adding more difficult bosses in the game. It's just a matter of time. They're just scratching the surface and I just can't wait to see what they come up with. And that's why the 16th thing that moco needs is more of what we already have. Seriously though, like the game is so good. I'm having so much fun playing moco and the chapter 1 content has been really fun. I just am really envious of somebody who downloads this game for the first time in 3 years from now. Just imagine chapter 7 just dropped. The max hunter is level 100. They've released 10 additional weapons, 10 additional gadgets, 10 additional passives, and a ton of other content that I can only speculate on right now, right? Like, you think the game is good now? Just wait, because this is going to get better with every new chapter release. And I can't wait for them to release chapter 2. I genuinely just want it now. Just give it to me. I need it. This video actually started out as a discussion between myself and a friend, Pyro. So I wanted to thank him for his thoughts and contributions. And I wanted to thank the developer team for their awesome game. Seriously, it's been so fun. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, I was initially making this into a 100% honest review video, but it just would have been me talking about how much I love all the different parts of the game. And people would have just been like, Kairos, what's the point of this video? There's no drama. Everybody loves everything in the game. And I'm with you. I get that. So anyway, that's where this came down to. It's just been so much fun. The journey's been great. I'm so thankful the game is out and I'm really excited for more. And anyway, I want to know what you guys thought about these ideas. Which one would you like to be added into the game the most? And if you have additional ideas that I did not mention here, please drop them in a comment below. So like any other ideas that you see in the comment section below as well. Don't forget to subscribe for more moco content and check out this awesome video right here. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to the journey of moco with you guys.